You think you're being a saint. In reality, you're just being a doormat with a halo. Friedrich Nietzsche didn't see your kindness as a virtue. He saw it as a symptom. While you're busy understanding why they wronged you again, or how they didn't mean to disrespect you, they aren't admiring your grace. They're measuring the length of your leash. Your empathy isn't a bridge. It's a green light for their entitlement. You've been sold a lie that being harmless makes you moral. It doesn't. It just makes you easy to manage. Nietzsche identified a specific psychological shift he called slave morality in his book on the genealogy of mortals. It's the ultimate gaslight. In this framework, everything the strong or assertive person does, taking what they want, setting hard boundaries, being unapologetically themselves, is labeled evil. Conversely, everything the weak or submissive person does, compliance, humility, turning the other cheek, is labeled good. This wasn't a biological destiny. It was a clever trick of the weak to neutralize the strong. If you can't fight back, you call yourself peaceful. If you're too afraid to speak up, you call yourself polite. This isn't a choice. It's a coping mechanism rebranded as a religious duty. When you lead with unconditional kindness, you are not training people to love you. You're training them to expect a free ride. Behavioral psychology calls this intermittent reinforcement. But when it's one-sided, it becomes a parasitic drain. The first time you forgive a boundary violation, it's a favor. The second time, it's a standard. The third time, it's an obligation. Suddenly, when you finally say no, you're the villain. They feel cheated because you've stopped providing the emotional labor they feel they own. They are not grateful for your past leniency. They're offended by your current resistance. Nietzsche used the term ressentiment. This isn't just basic resentment. It's a deep, festering bitterness that grows when an individual is unable to react to an injury or insult through direct action. Because you are too kind to strike back, you internalize the trauma. You suppress your anger to keep the peace, but that energy doesn't evaporate. It transforms into a vengeful, imaginary landscape. You start hating the people you're being kind to because they have the freedom to be selfish while you're trapped in the prison of being the nice guy. This creates a psychic split. Outwardly, you're the understanding friend, but inwardly, you're a boiling cauldron of contempt. The person exploiting you doesn't see your internal struggle. They don't see the noble restraint you think you're practicing. They see a lack of self-worth. Evolutionary psychology suggests that humans, like many primates, constantly test the hierarchies of their social groups. If you do not push back when pushed, the other person's brain registers you as lower status. In their eyes, if you valued yourself, you wouldn't let this happen. Therefore, they conclude you must not value yourself, so why should they? Everything in nature, according to Nietzsche's "Thus Spoke Zarathustra," is an expression of the will to power. This isn't about being a dictator or a bully. It's about self-mastery, growth, and the expansion of one's own influence over their life. When you prioritize being the understanding one, you're abdicating your will to power. You're handing the remote control of your life to whoever is willing to be the most demanding. Leniency is only a virtue if you have the capacity to be harsh. If you can't be dangerous, your kindness is just a necessity. A sheep isn't kind for not eating the wolf, it's just a sheep. Nietzsche's beast of prey metaphor serves to remind us that morality without the capacity to force is just cowardice in a suit. To be truly virtuous, you must have teeth and choose not to use them. But most people in modern society have had their teeth pulled by social conditioning and call the resulting gummy smile morality. Modern kindness culture is a factory for victims. You're told to always be the bigger person. Why? Usually, it's advice given by people who don't want to deal with the fallout of you standing up for yourself. It's a tool for social lubrication, not your personal fulfillment. They test the waters with small disrespect, A late text, a canceled plan, a joke at your expense. They provide a reason, trauma, stress, a bad day. The kindness trap. You accept the reason to prove you're a good person. This is cognitive dissonance. You'd rather believe they're struggling than believe they're using you. The disrespect becomes the baseline. They do as they please because they know your internal code, your slave morality, forbids you from retaliating. You're playing chess with rigid rules. They're playing a contact sport where the only goal is winning. Your ethics are your handcuffs. Why do they treat you like a fool? Because, mathematically, it works for them. In game theory, specifically the prisoner's dilemma, if one player always cooperates, you, and the other player always defects, them, the defector gains the maximum reward while the cooperator incurs the maximum loss. They feel entitled to your kindness because you've commodified it. By giving it away for free, you've dropped its market value to zero. They don't put your welfare into consideration because you haven't made it a requirement for entry into your life. In their mind, your job is to understand, and their job is to be. If you're not complaining, they assume the arrangement is satisfactory. Nietzsche's solution was the transvaluation of values. You have to take the concepts of kind and mean and flip them to see the truth. Selfishness is sometimes self-preservation. If you do not advocate for your own needs, you eventually become a burden to society because you've burned out being empathetic. Kindness is sometimes cowardice. You're not being nice, you're just afraid of the confrontation required to set a boundary. Saying no is more moral than a fake yes. A fake yes builds a foundation of lies. If you continue to allow your welfare to be ignored, you aren't being a martyr. You're being an accomplice in your own destruction. You're teaching the other person that their worst behavior is acceptable. You're making the world a worse place by subsidizing their toxicity with your understanding. You're effectively training a predator. To stop being a fool, you have to engage in what Carl Jung, deeply influenced by Nietzsche, called shadow work. The shadow is the part of your psyche that contains your capacity for aggression, selfishness, and rebellion. If you suppress the shadow, it doesn't disappear. It just controls you from the dark. When you integrate it, you become a complete human. You become someone who can be biting, someone who can walk away, and someone who can say, "This is unacceptable." When you have the power to be mean, your kindness finally means something. It becomes a choice, not a default setting. When you stop being understanding of people who don't understand you, you regain your gravity. You stop being a resource to be harvested and start being a person to be reckoned with. Every time you let a slight slide, you pay for it with a piece of your self-respect. This is a finite resource. Eventually, you'll look in the mirror and realize you don't recognize the person staring back, the person who used to have dreams and boundaries, but sacrificed them all to be the nice one. Nietzsche warned that he who makes himself a worm cannot complain afterwards if people step on him. If you present yourself as a person with no limits, no bottom line, and an infinite capacity for forgiveness, you're effectively inviting the world to walk over you. People do not respect those whom they can predict with 100% certainty. If they know you'll always forgive, always stay, and always understand, you become a fixed variable, a piece of furniture in their life. Respect is reserved for the unpredictable, for the person who has a line in the sand that cannot be crossed without consequences. Stop looking for validation in your goodness. That validation is the currency your enslavers use to pay you for your submission. They'll tell you you're so sweet and so helpful while they drain your time, your energy, and your dignity. It's a cheap bribe to keep you in the harness. Real strength is the ability to walk away from a table where respect isn't being served, even if walking away makes you look like the bad guy in their story. In fact, being the bad guy in a manipulator's story is usually a sign that you're finally doing something right. Be the bad guy if it means you get to keep your soul. The world doesn't need more nice people who are secretly miserable. It needs people who are honest, dangerous when necessary, and self-respecting. If this message got to you, it's because you felt the weight of that kindness collar. Don't let it choke you. Drop a comment below. Tell me about the moment you realized your leniency was being treated like a weakness. Was it a friend, a partner, or a boss? Hit that like button if you're done being the understanding one and stop being a tool in someone else's game. Your kindness is a weapon. Stop handing it to your enemies. Wake up.